Hey guys, we have something really important to ask you that's been in our minds for a long time. Are you guys feeling lonely? Are you guys out there lacking connections, personal relationships? Are you finding yourself having way more time than usual? Well, we are here to discuss that. We want to really go deeper into the topic of just how lonely are us men, and we will get into it starting right now.
Let's go. How's it going, guys? So we're here at the Improve Men podcast. Woo!
Some claps. Episode one.
Episode 1.
Episode one. We literally
Yes.
just came up with that name yesterday. Please allow us to introduce ourselves. My name is Paul Sebastian,
My name is Jesus Pacheco.
and we want to start with just a main topic of, how lonely are we in society, but more specifically, we'll get into the United States.
Exactly. We just decided to kind of get together and through our connection as being really good friends, living for a while and sharing all the stories, sharing our experiences, we decided that it's time to also share all of this to you guys. There's a lot of people that don't feel that they've been listened to, that feel that they're alone, and this is for you guys. This is for you to help you out to get out of it, get out of that situation, get yourself in a better position, and get motivated. Get to a point of life where you are the best version of yourself.
And so far, if you like what you are hearing, if you find this of any value already, please don't hesitate to go ahead and like and subscribe our YouTube channel here at the Improve Men podcast.
Correct. And since we are improving, let us know in the comments what topics do you want us to cover, anything that you found interesting.
And maybe what you would like to see or hear.
Yeah, exactly. We are coming up with these ideas through kind of like from our experiences, but also through what we're hearing out there with our friends, with family, what we are observing outside, what we see in online, right? And that's why we decide to come up with this format in this way. And so this is it's for you guys. How lonely are we? How lonely are you? I think that's a really important question, and it's I think the first step is to really identify it, really accept it that you are lonely, that you're not in that position that you want to be. I think it's a really good first step. Is to identify where you're at.
Yeah. Identify what is causing it. How did you get in that situation, and what can you do to get out? Because a lot of men actually feel very helpless. They feel like they can't do anything about their situation, and a lot of people, not just men, we tend to have a victim mentality. Oh, I'll never be able to do this. I'll never be able to do that or achieve this or get a girlfriend or get that job or get that car or do something in life and go anywhere in life. So the best that we can do is to hold ourselves accountable to doing the smallest things that'll lead to the biggest and drastic long-term improvements.
Exactly, and we're gonna touch bases. We're gonna touch on all of those topics, right? From your what is affecting you at this point, right? And we're gonna touch bases on all of those. We're gonna give examples. We're gonna give some tips. We're gonna try to explain what our experiences were and have been working, have not been working. We're gonna touch bases on all of those. So one of those is let's start from the beginning, right?
The beginning.
The beginning. So, how this loneliness in men started, right?
Yes.
And I think we have to touch bases first of we're victims of our society. I think we are not
Yeah.
saying that we should feel victims, but we are surrounded by society and how the environment is.
And of our time, our generation.
Exactly, our generation, the culture, everything. So one of the first things that have impacted us socially was social media.
Yeah. It.
Exactly. And we started with social media because I think that's when that changed our way of communicating, or the way of how we interacted with others. How do we spend our time, right? And that was one of the first biggest impacts socially. We believe for most of us, right?
Yes. Social media has completely changed the social landscape forever, and I don't think that we will ever go back to the way how things used to be. But speaking of which, uh, you know, how about we break down just a little bit of how things kind of developed to where we are?
Carter, go ahead.
Okay, so allow me to just give people a rundown of how we got here. And so now, as Jesus was mentioning, social media is in our lives, but it wasn't in our lives for that long, actually, relatively speaking. There was a time where there were no phones, there were no computers, there was no way to connect to each other, and all we really relied on was our close social circles at school, at work, in our neighborhoods,
Yeah. The only
family,
way that we're
friends.
seeing now those experiences are just through like old school movies and movies about that kind of story, right?
Exactly. And so we think about the way how things used to be during that time, and let's just kind of let's go back to World War II. So World War II, after the war ended, all the soldiers came back home, and there was a large push of marketing, of developing uh, a new type of neighborhood where it was suitable and perfect to raise a family,
Yes.
and that brought about the creation of the nuclear family. And well, in a certain idea was the creation of the nuclear family. You had mom, dad, sister, and you had the pet, and you had the house living in the neighborhood, along with everyone else, where everyone looked the same. And today you kind of see it in under the guise of parody,
Mm-hmm.
because it's such an antiquated idea to us now. But in those days, what society valued was traditional roles, such as, husband and wife, and one was the breadwinner and one stayed at home and took care of the children.
Yes.
And then, of course, things changed dramatically in the 1960s. You've had many social uprisings and many protests, and you've had uh, assassinations, and it was a time where our society was becoming aware of itself, and a lot more people uh, decided to break traditional cultural norms. They
Correct.
started to reject it, and they started challenging new ideas, and which led to different family dynamics. And you basically had that developing and evolving throughout the 70s, throughout the 80s, throughout the 1990s, and into the digital era, the digital age,
Mm-hmm.
when you've had computers start to become a mainstay in our lives.
Yeah.
And then in the 2000s, we saw the early days of social media.
Exactly. And I think it's really important to really have that contrast, right? In how men used to be socially in those aspects, right? In terms of the core of the family and how they will develop and the type of work that they will do, right? And everything will be just kind of like a template, right? And everybody will looking at a job and they will have their jobs and they will have enough money for things and as men they had a specific role and they would just kind of follow a simple template, right?
Yeah.
But now with social media and all these new ideas, now that social aspect change, right? The relationships change. The way that we communicate, change a lot, right? So now we're trapped. Now as men is like, well, we don't have a template to follow anymore, right? It's now is dynamic. Now it changes with time. Now is every single year or every 2 years, 3 years, a new way of communication starts, right? We first
Yes.
come up from the phone, from the homes, right? Now to from cell phones, and now for texting, and then and so on and so on. And so the social dynamics has started to change a lot. And now we are trying to adapt to all of these changes, right?
Yes. And the way how social media and technology has played a major role in our lives, we can't deny it. We can't deny it, and it has really altered forever the way how we create connections.
Exactly.
And with that territory came this unexpected result of a lot of disconnect,
Correct.
a lot of loneliness.
Exactly. And even not also relationship with the other people, right? But also with our own parents. That relationship kind of changed too. And now we start to see that there's less connection with our parents because we're trapped in this digital technology. So now all that knowledge from our parents, from those older generations, are not getting passed down. So all of those lessons helped us to really overcome all of these feelings, to really find a purpose. And this loneliness sometimes is a little bit of lack of focus, a little bit of lack of guidance, of tools of how to overcome this. And the fathers used to be the ones who will provide us this. And we're starting to see that that is a little bit of that origin too of how we are not developing ourselves, or not develop those tools to find a purpose and find ways of not feeling lonely. Now we're getting trapped more into the digital world, into video games, into social media at this point. So yeah, that's a little bit of that origin. Anything else that we are kind of missing a little bit? I mean, we're touching bases. We're kind of going abroad of this, but we just want to get the idea across.
No, I think we kind of covered it. I think we've discussed most of it. I think people will get the idea of what we're trying to establish.
Exactly. So,
Mhm.
so what is happening to you, my brother? It's not just you. Okay, it's not just you. It, all of these feelings of loneliness, it's not only you, brother. Things are happening out there, and everybody's trying to find an answer. And I think all of what we're doing right now is gonna hopefully start that conversation in your head, and start looking a little bit yourself at the mirror a little bit more. So, all right, let's go to topic two.
What is going on in your personal life, and are you happy where you are? What are you missing? How were things like when you were growing up versus now? I'm sure 9 out of 10 times people are going to respond by saying, "Oh, things are not the way how they used to be. Things are not how it was when we were children." Children, it's like we saw the world in color, but a lot of people, they don't see that anymore. And so we lose our way. Sometimes we just have traumatic experiences somewhere along the way. That could be in a friend group, it could be something happening at your school, something in your journey to your career, and your personal relationships with a girlfriend that you've had.
Exactly. And I want to bring also this question, right? Is do you also feel like you're losing not only, let's step away from a second from relationships, and let's talk about friends, right? Because I think if you don't really feel that connection with friends, right, is that is kind of like a little bit of that first symptom that the things are kind of going south. And and let's ask this question and ask you yourself this question: how many friendships have you lost? How many friends have you lost on the way, right? And sometimes it's normal. Sometimes when we kind of get out of school, we start losing, a lot of those friends from school because we used to see them every day. But at this point, is how many keep in touch, after school, right? Do you have any friends from college that are reaching out?
No, actually, very very
Yeah,
little to none.
yeah,
People always separate you after graduation. People go on their way. They probably go back home where they came from. They probably start their career aspirations maybe in another country, in another state,
yep.
and things happen.
Hmm.
But then what happens? You get them on social media, but you're still not talking to them.
Exactly.
So what is that?
Yeah, how many friends do you have on Facebook and that you don't talk to? Just ask,
Yeah,
ask
right.
yourself that question, right? How
We're
many?
not talking to them.
Yeah,
We're just
exactly.
scrolling
It's
right
like
past.
1,000 friends on Facebook, and we don't talk to any of them. We're just like looking at who's getting fatter, right?
Older. Yeah.
So, yeah, stop stalking people in Facebook. And again, it's look at ourselves, right? Look at what we're doing, right? Okay, so what do we exactly we see in social media, right? We see that people are at bars and they're posting, at the party and trying to show off that life and look at me, I'm like buying a lot of
Having a great
drinks,
time
having a
and-
great time, right?
Yeah.
But
Speaking of which,
speaking of which,
it's a Friday night, so
water,
you
water,
know,
water.
I'm going with the water. I'm going with the outfit. So
Yeah.
gotta give the Friday energy.
Exactly. So let me break this bubble, and is that they are probably not having the best time in their life. I'm sure they're gonna go back home and they're gonna just go back to their own simple life.
They're distracting themselves.
Exactly. It's more of a distraction, in reality, and and you gotta really think about, just imagine this, right? Imagine you're at a bar, and yes, with the music, right? But now imagine that bar with no music. How simple we would look, right? Just people just going, you know and just like
Looking silly.
looking silly, right? And that's kind of what we're seeing right now, is that some people rely a lot on those bars to don't feel lonely in the weekends, right? To really find that partner, maybe trying to get lucky. And we're also looking at a lot of people also relying on dating apps too. And all of this is like building up towards that level of loneliness. It's kind of giving you a little bit more of that. You're not having a connection. You're just kind of relying on in these situations, right?
Yes. Yep.
So okay, so now you're going to bars. You're not building any more friendships. You're not finding the partner. You're not finding your partner in dating apps. So you're getting desperate. You are feeling more and more lonely, and people start making weird decisions, right? What are some of the examples that you can think of in terms of desperation at that point?
Well, people start to consume corn. They resort to, you start looking at dating apps. You start to hit on the wrong type of people. So, like, you're hitting on a professor or your best friend's girl or just a coworker.
Guys, don't. Yes, you stop hitting on your friend's girlfriend, bro. Stop it. It's don't get me going. Don't get me going on that.
No matter how you try
Don't
to
get me going
justify
there.
it,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
definitely one way
Yeah.
of losing
Yeah. Yeah.
a solid friendship.
yeah. And I'm having this reaction because somebody from my friends is doing it. No, I don't have friends like that. I'm just saying that we see a lot of that.
Well, I actually had a friend.
Oh shoot.
Many years ago.
Oh.
many years ago. That this guy was willing to go above and beyond just to get this girl, and that girl was one of his friends' girlfriend. And he did succeed in taking the girl from her.
Oh my
No.
He got the girl. It was because the previous relationship to the other guy
Yeah.
was really bad. And so he was essentially like the shoulder to cry on.
Oh my. Yep. Of course.
And he took complete advantage. And their friendship was just never the same afterwards. Drama
Of course.
ensued.
Of course.
Drama ensued.
Yep.
And both of them were actually working together in several projects. But that put a huge strain on their relationship.
And also just think about how many artists have gone down in their career because of a girl.
Because of a relationship they wanted to prioritize.
Exactly.
They lost their way. They lost their that mojo that they had going.
Exactly.
You know, that got them to that place, and then comes in their lives is the wrong person,
Exactly.
and it just takes one person to destroy everything you built for.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's again, we're hitting on these really bad decisions, right? And it can ruin you, definitely. And it's even worse to choose the incorrect partner sometimes. You're alone. If you're alone, you feel lonely. Okay, but choosing the wrong person, that can ruin your life.
There are blessings in being alone, you know. So don't get us wrong. There's a difference between being alone and being lonely.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're
Yes.
not saying that it's bad to be alone, right? It's bad that you're living on your own or you're doing activities alone.
Yes.
That's not the point that we're driving. So
Yep.
just to clarify.
And let's. I like that topic, Paul.
Yeah.
I like really that topic because
Yeah. Okay.
that's where men get built on the battle between yourself, right? And I like this idea that I saw this other day, that there is 3 stages in your mind. It's one
3 stages. Okay.
three. It's
This is new to me. I haven't heard this.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
what's going on?
So you have, it's like 3 sides of your brain. Let's put it this way. And it's one of them is your social, the one that you learn through, you know, having your parents teach you the ways of the society, right? Being respectful, not doing respecting other people's spaces.
Is this the Sigmund Freud?
I think, yeah, I think that's the name.
The id, the ego.
Yep.
And
What
there
is
was
the
a
name in
third.
English? I know it in Spanish. I'm sorry, but in English, what could be the name? If you don't know, it's
Guys, I mean, I don't know it. I mean, I could probably figure it out in my
Alright.
phone, but I think it'd be a lot better if you guys knew and dropped it in the comments.
Yep. So let me throw the concept, right? Is there is a part of your brain that is the one that is the social one, the one that adjusts to society, and
that
then the
falls in line.
that
that
falls in
with
line
behavioral.
with behavioral,
Yeah.
with how society behaves, and the other one is the animal,
The animal, the instinctive
the
nature.
instinctive nature.
So these are things that you can't control, right? Like using the bathroom,
Exactly.
right? Like feeling sleepy or you feeling horny.
Exactly. And in this case, sometimes is how you feel lonely. It's like feeling like you're being rejected, like you feel like something threatened.
Like your existence is being threatened.
Exactly. And guess what? You are between those two. That's where you fall in. So when you rely too much on those feelings that you cannot control, is that animal, is that side of you. And you gotta be careful. And you gotta make smart decisions to not let that side of you control you. So it is really important that you understand that. Is we're gonna give you a little bit of more like contrast of that feeling of loneliness. Is that animal side of you that is talking to you, and you gotta be careful and you gotta beat it. Okay.
those instinctive nature where you are starting to resort to doing whatever to kind of cope.
Exactly. Or in this case, I would say a little bit of survival.
Survival kicks in,
Survival.
right? Yeah,
Yes. And when when you're
that's
trying to survive,
yeah.
is you're doing whatever you can,
Yep.
right, to really survive, and that can put you in hands of the incorrect person to not feel lonely. So you're looking for a partner, and you probably because of that nature is gonna take you towards the wrong decision.
So, I mean, we were already touching on that. So, they look for validation in through social media.
Exactly.
They'll do whatever. They'll try to interact with people online. They'll join dating apps, and a lot of us, like how many of you guys out there have just done whatever you could. Maybe you put in your best foot forward on these dating apps. You swiped right. Maybe you were way more open minded than you like to be, but still couldn't get any matches.
Exactly. And guys, let's start a little bit of of those consequences, because guys, dating apps, right? Dating apps are not there. Let me break this down. This is a business. The dating apps are businesses, and they're out there to make money, right? And so these are not apps just to help you find the love of your life. They're gonna keep you hooked in there as much as they can, and trying to force you towards getting to pay at least for those services, right? We're gonna put your face up there, and some cute girl is gonna look at you. Mm-hmm. They're not. All right.
Especially, well, you'll definitely have a hard time in a major city.
Exactly.
Like, could you imagine Chicago, New York, LA?
Yep.
That's just it would just be a
Or
disaster, I can imagine.
or if you're in a small city, you're probably not gonna have a lot of options too. So yeah, it's there's no good side of about dating apps.
Probably in the early days there were things happening, but again, the way where we've been brought to this point has really kind of overblown everything now.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So guys, so dating apps, right? Just think about this. Ask yourself this question. You as a human being, you're trying to condense who you are. You're shorting yourself. You're selling yourself short at that moment. Is that you're willing to remove your individuality, if I'm saying it that correctly, and put it into an app where all of you is going to be represented by a picture,
Yeah.
a little description,
Hmm.
and that's it.
Do you like this person? No. Do you like this person? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Relationships are not that way. This is
Yeah.
that is not that is not normal.
It's not the organic way to meet somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way, is it's popular right now, but it's not normal for people to like start creating relationships that way.
Now imagine if 40 years ago something like this existed. Maybe we wouldn't exist. Maybe none of us would be here today.
Probably, yeah, exactly, exactly. And we'll see in many years more. I mean, it's definitely not gonna help you. Let's put it this way, right? But first of all, is why do people start relying in dating apps? And that's because they want it. They want the relationships now. They want it now. I just want to meet someone now, Paul.
Yep.
Should be easy, right?
Let's hurry up and match, and
Let's hurry up.
let's hurry up and message.
Yep.
Why is it taking you more than 20 minutes for you to send me a message?
Yeah, Paul. So it's like, Paul, I want just to meet someone on the dating app.
Yeah.
Like I just want someone to love me, right? And you just start swiping, or sending messages and nobody's responding.
And then you start to lose hope, and then your confidence goes down, and then you feel like your time is getting wasted,
Exactly.
and then you feel lonely.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
first of all, is don't start taking those actions that are not gonna get you out of there, right? Let's start with with other things, but we're touching bases on the things that you're probably doing that are causing yourself to feel lonely.
So yeah, so to drive the point home there, you don't want to shelf out a lot of money to these apps.
Exactly.
And then of course we got to mention corn. You can't be shelving out money towards that because you're still accessing that part of your brain that gives you that quick hit of euphoria. And so that's what you're doing every time you're paying. And
Exactly.
because you know that it is not very how do I put it? It's not cool to be paying somebody, right, for them to send you, content of themselves.
I think, Paul, you are gonna bring up a really interesting topic. And guys, this is on you guys. This is on you. And this is on all of us. Let's put it that way. I mean, not us. We're 100% we're not paying for all that stuff. Let me start with that, right? But I'm talking about us as men. So and I gotta call out those guys first, okay? What is happening now? Instead of using all that energy and all that money for good, where are we using this money, Paul?
What could we be doing better with our money?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But what are we doing now with all that money? Where are we throwing that money to? The most famous Blue Page out there.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. That would be OF.
OF.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we're doing as men. We are throwing money out there, trying to find a connection, right?
Now, we want to give you guys a little bit of a reference because probably, I'm sure to you viewers, you guys know what OnlyFans is.
Exactly.
So you know immediately what we're referring to.
Exactly.
And it's a quick access. You can view whatever you want there, and a lot of guys do it to make their, to feel validated in a sense, like they're actually hearing from this person.
Exactly.
And that's why they do it.
Exactly. So
how many people are actually kind of engaging with this?
Let's throw a hard fact about this.
Okay, Jesus, do you have some stats for us?
I do.
Okay, all right, guys.
As of 2025, we're only 4 months into 2025, Paul. There are 3,565,143 million. I probably read that number wrong. Let's put it this way.
No, I think you just said million twice.
All right, yes, I said it twice. Correct. Yeah. Let's put it this way.
So it's 3.5 million.
Correct. 3.5 million OnlyFans creators worldwide.
Worldwide, huh? That's 3.5 mil in the world.
Creators. All right?
Yeah.
So the US leads with 1.1 million creators.
That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people. It's a good size city.
That is.
Yes.
That's enough for a major city.
A major city. Correct.
That could be a whole major city on its own.
All right. But what are men doing in this website? Like, how many visits does this website have, Paul?
Well, who are like the largest consumers of that content?
Men.
That would be men.
Exactly.
Okay. And so how many of us are consuming this?
All right. So, man, it's really hard for me to just even read these numbers because it just gets me
staggering
really
and
staggered.
Shocking numbers, huh?
OnlyFans has received 252.9 million visits globally in 2025. 4 months, guys. 4 months.
So that's 4 months.
4 months. And there have already been 253 million visits globally. Like, my brain just cannot process that.
257, you said?
252.9. So it's around 253 million visits globally in 4 months.
That's very wild.
Guys, what are we doing with our time?
Viewing that stuff apparently. watching that.
Watching that, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So you're spending your money,
Exactly.
and then you are putting yourself in a cycle of this endless pit
Yes.
where you are just totally getting caught up and distracting yourself from going out there and kind of challenging yourself. You're not doing that. And now, of course, financially speaking, that's not the only consequence there is, right?
Exactly.
To consuming corn.
Your time. Really, your time is your most valuable asset. And guess what? You're using your time to trigger that loneliness. You're using the time to spend time on this website and throw money on this website, right? What did I told you a little bit before this about dating apps and that this is a business? Let me throw you a little fact.
Okay.
OnlyFans
Okay.
revenue surged from 5.55 billion with a B in 2022 to now 6.63 billion dollars in 2023.
So in 1 year, it made a full billion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So no, it's a billion extra in top of it. So in between those 2 years, they made 11 point something, right?
Oh, you
So-
mean it wasn't just an additional one? That's
Surge.
5.55 plus
That's
6?
Yes.
No way.
Exactly.
So now you're looking at almost 12 billion. No, wait.
No,
this
no,
is-
no.
Okay, what do you okay, explain this.
So,
now,
okay,
because
so
you
in
just
1 year-
corrected what I thought.
Yeah.
Now what are you saying?
So okay, so in 1 year they made
Okay.
5 billion,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And so it is expected that the next year they're gonna make at
It's
least
gonna make more
at
than
least.
that.
So yeah, so the expectation is that at least on a minimum they're gonna make
Yeah.
another 5, right, in the next year.
Yes.
Well, guess what?
But they made more than
we
that.
earned 6.
Okay. So that's well over 100% over
Yes.
from the previous year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So and
So those 2 years would be about $12 billion.
exactly.
Just 2 years alone.
Now imagine, guys, what we could have done with that money if we all got together and put that money into something good.
Dang, if you think about it, I mean, you could end the cliche world hunger.
Exactly.
You could clean up the garbage in the streets. You can
Yeah.
end homelessness.
Yep.
In fact, on a more personal level, to maybe some of you guys out there who might have aspirations, start a business.
Exactly, guys.
Start a business.
Exactly.
Join a gym.
So just think about all that energy and all that money where it's going to, and ask yourself like, that is really contributing to my loneliness at this point, right?
Yeah.
It's not helping me. It's definitely not helping you, brothers. Like spending
Yeah.
all that money.
Yeah.
You know who you're funding? You're funding these people. And let me throw you one
And the
fact, another
CEOs,
fact at you.
the CEO.
The CEOs, of course. Yeah. They're definitely making more money than any of the creators in there. But let me just throw a little fact of where that money is going. Top earner, Black China. Hopefully I'm saying
China.
made up to 20 million per month in 2021.
Wow.
$20 million per month, bro.
20 mil per month. 20 million per month.
Per month. That is. I just at that point it's just like your brain doesn't register like
Yeah.
what that amount is.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
All right. And so all of this, guys, this is not to bash on OnlyFans because they're out there just to make a business. But it's just on your decisions. It's about your decisions. Like what is contributing to that loneliness and what are you doing with that, right? You're spending now money on these websites and they're not benefiting you, bro. They're not. They're giving you that little rush. Yeah, you're looking at these creators, but it's not helping you. Okay?
No. So and of course there's more than that with consequences. There's health consequences. So if you're not taking care of yourself and you're viewing all this stuff, you're also messing yourself up psychologically.
Exactly.
So like drugs, like alcohol and junk food, corn addiction is a real issue,
Exactly.
real issue where men have to actually seek therapy to get themselves out of it, because just like the other stimulants, it's a quick hit of the reward system in your brain, and you just want to keep feeding it and feeding it every time you feel threatened in your life. Your body, your mind feels threatened.
Exactly.
And, hence in our context here, the loneliness you'll feel.
Exactly. And I kind of want to touch a little bit of that topic, and how is this immediate rush, how is that really affecting you? Let me start with this. The real rush, the real feeling of self-respect, the real feeling of overcoming something hard, the real the respect that you're gonna get from others, and the rush, and that happiness, it requires work.
Oh yeah.
It requires work.
Oh yeah.
So don't think that just by eating this junk food, that relying on video games, relying on corn, relying on all of this stuff, you're basically shortcutting towards happiness, and this is not a healthy happiness. That happiness needs to come from you. That happiness needs to come from your hard work.
And
right?
So how does the hard work look like? So what can we offer now for solutions here? How do we
Exactly.
move forward, right?
Exactly.
I'm sure that's what a lot of you guys came. Of course, you don't just want to hear how deep in problems we are.
Getting called out by us, right?
Yeah.
If that's you.
So I mean, and we're here to offer many solutions that we've implemented in our own lives, and we've actually seen the change for ourselves.
Exactly. So number one is accepting. Going back to the original point, is first of all is you gotta accept where you at. You gotta accept that.
Admission is the big first step.
Exactly. And now is, what are the actions that we're actually taking towards getting out of that loneliness, out of that feeling? Think about what are your day-to-day actions that are contributing to that? And if you don't know, right? If you don't know where to start, let's put it this way: step by step, little by little, little wins. You need little victories in your life
in order to help compound that confidence.
Exactly. You
'Cause,
guys,
yeah.
you guys don't need to change your life from one day to another. That is really impossible. That is something that is not realistic. You gotta start with really small victories.
And now confidence is one's strong belief in themselves,
Exactly.
in knowing that no matter what happens, you're not going to move. You're going to be very sure of yourself that you'll be able to accomplish or get through something.
Exactly. You need to start first is talk positively to you. I would say, for my part, is you need to start talking positive to you and start to believe yourself. Start to really have a positive view of yourself first. You're not a loser. You're not really alone, because you can develop this self-respect. And believe me, once you find that inside of you, where you start talking good about you, when you start getting positive about you, that you can do it, start believing, then you have a really good partner, right?
Yeah.
Inside
yeah.
of you.
Oh yeah.
All right. So what would be a small victory that our viewers can starting tomorrow? What can they start, like, as soon as they wake up? What can they do to start getting those small victories?
Man, like, brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Like, personal hygiene. It shows that you care.
Exactly.
Take a shower, brush your teeth, come up with a different hairstyle, something that complements you. Don't be afraid to experiment with your personal style, with your appearance, with your clothes.
Make your bed.
Make your bed. Make your bed. Find a routine that is really beneficial to you.
Exactly. And you start with really small victories like that. You start with little things. Then once you start building that confidence, right, you start really understand that self-confidence is okay. Pride is okay, right? I want you guys to be proud of yourselves, and start thinking that stop thinking about that if you care about yourself and you have confidence and you have pride, it's not ego, right? It's just loving yourself. You need to start to love yourself before you start loving others.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to understand what that means, because I think that term gets thrown around a lot, like very
Yes.
loosely,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very like in a jokey context,
Mm-hmm.
or just the cliche positive thing to say.
Exactly. You gotta take ownership and responsibility of yourself. You gotta start first taking care of yourself instead of having to look for a relationship outside. Start a relationship with yourself first.
The biggest thing for sure in that journey, I would say, is guys, you have to stay single. Don't even worry about having to find a partner. You'll probably feel lonely, but say you do find that partner. You don't know how you're going to navigate it. You don't understand yourself, and you won't know how that you don't know for sure that you are going to get happiness from it.
Exactly.
So you're going into a situation completely blind.
Yes.
So do the work on yourself and have that inner conversation with yourself.
Because your happiness should not depend on the other person. Happiness should be coming from you.
They should be a compliment to your life.
Exactly.
Like, hey, I accomplished and completed all these goals, but now, this person coming into my life now is just a huge compliment, and it just kind of enhances an already amazing experience I'm having in my life.
Exactly. So, uh, it's really important to also identify that for people who are feeling lonely and they're looking for a partner, because that is one of the most that's one of the first things that us as being lonely we try to do is to find a partner. And believe me, guys, is your partner is not gonna give you that respect. It's gonna give you that happiness if you yourself are not giving it to yourself. Like if you're not really feel proud of yourself, being happy by yourself, your partner is not gonna do it. Don't throw that weight into your partner,
Yeah.
please. Like don't
So-
start looking for a partner just to get that validation from the other person. The validation should come from you.
And that's how you just get a lot of unnecessary toxic relationships.
Exactly.
They always go wrong because you're not respecting yourself as a man, and you're just accepting whatever comes your way. Guys, believe me, you will command way more respect if you work on yourselves and you know what you're looking for, and you're not going to settle for less.
Exactly. So don't settle for less, guys. Don't sell yourself short. And we're gonna talk a little bit more in the upcoming episodes. We can develop any of the ideas that we touch basis.
Yeah.
We touched today.
Oh yeah.
We have plenty,
We can.
guys.
We can totally make even separate videos on things that we briefly touched on.
Exactly.
We can have whole hours long conversation
Exactly.
on these individual topics, but
Exactly.
it'll all depend on how these future episodes are going to look like.
Exactly.
A lot is going to depend on your guys and your feedback, and we're definitely here to listen to suggestions.
Yes.
We also want to hear your general thoughts and feelings. We want to go ahead and connect with you guys and let you know
Yes.
that there are some guys out here, and definitely if you are liking so far what we're providing to you, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to our
Yes.
YouTube channel.
Yes.
Leave a comment and show your support.
Exactly.
I definitely want to hear the pulse of what's going on out there.
Exactly, guys. And we want to end it in a good note. Is that you can get out of this. This is just a period of time where you're gonna feel that there's no solution, but there are solutions. Don't give up. You got it. You just gotta believe in yourself. I know it sounds a little cliche, but It really does. You need to talk to yourself positively. You need to believe on that you can get through this, and we're here to help you because this is all about improvement, and we are the improved men right here coming you from the beautiful San Diego. We are gonna continue, guys. If you like it, please again like and subscribe. And anything else, Paul?
Just hope to see you guys again in the next episode.
Yes.
I am Paul Sebastian,
I'm Jesus Pacheco.
and we are the Improved Men Podcast.
See you guys. Take care of yourselves.